We are with Representative Strom Peterson from the 21st District. And today I would like to ask you about your sponsor bills that went to the Senate. First, let's start with 1223. This is about interrogations, recording interrogations.
This bill is going to mandate that police departments across the state have to record interrogations. Unfortunately, as strange as that seems, it is not the law to record an interrogation. And far too often, there are false confessions that lead to convictions. This is something that's happening nationally, and I think something that we should do here in Washington. I think it's pretty common sense. Just recently, we had a hearing in the Senate. I think the hearing went really well. I'm excited that this bill is moving forward, and I think it's got some good momentum. Again, pretty common sense, but unfortunately, it's not the law yet here in Washington.
Let's shift gears and go to 1515. This is a security deposit waiver fee.
Security deposits are often an impediment for people to move into a new apartment or maybe into a larger apartment because security deposits can be really expensive. This is going to clarify the law in Washington that there's another option for folks, and that's to pay a monthly fee in lieu of that security deposit. So instead of having to scrape up $1,000 in order to move into a bigger place or a nicer place, this in lieu of fee, it might be $20 a month, is just an opportunity so people, if they don't have the cash on hand, they can still improve their living conditions.
Next, let's go to emergency shelters and housing. That's 1220.
Currently, when cities do their Growth Management Act planning, they just need to have kind of a broad idea of how many people are going to move into the city in the next 10 or 15 years. This bill really wants us to drill down a little bit and look at all of the different types of housing that are going to be needed, from affordable housing kind of on up the chain, to workforce housing, to, of course, also some larger single family homes. But we want to make sure that cities are addressing the future needs of all housing options. We have not been very good at doing that in the past in Washington, and that's led to a lot of housing inequities. The second thing that this bill will help the cities do is really to make sure that they can't zone out certain types of housing when other housing is available. I think the cleanest example for me is if folks are allowed to live in a neighborhood or even rent out their home in a neighborhood, people should also be able to move into that neighborhood that might be fleeing from domestic violence or might be fleeing a situation where they're unsafe. So this would make sure that cities just can't categorically deny, say, a domestic violence shelter in a neighborhood where other similar types of housing are taking place.
You have worked on the drug take back program for a couple of years now. In fact, one of your bills was passed, I believe, last year or the year before, but you have a new bill. What does this one do? It's 1161.
We established the first statewide program in the nation where people can conveniently take their drugs and drop them off at a drugstore or a grocery store, a pharmacy, any number of places to get their unwanted and expired drugs out of their homes. Really, this has become so popular and so successful that there's another company that wants to come to Washington and be a part of this program. Unfortunately, the language in the first bill, we needed to clean it up a little bit to make sure that a second company was able to come in easily and apply to do this work. So we worked with all the advocates again, put this bill together. It actually strengthens the program. I think this is going to give more and more opportunities for folks around the state to access this much needed service.
The next bill is 1074, fatality reviews.
This is going to give our health departments an opportunity to do a little more research into opioid deaths and suicide deaths, two causes of death that are still increasing way too much in our communities, tragically hitting really every corner of the state. So what we're hoping to do with this bill is by studying those deaths, maybe they can find some patterns, maybe they can find some opportunities to reduce suicide and opioid deaths in the future. So again, so proud of my health department, the Snohomish County Health Department, for bringing this bill forward so they can do some work to help our families.